Slumber Paggy!
What the?
Slumber Paggy!
Mio here!
And Kiddo here to tell you that today we have Tweakin' Freddy,
Distasteful jokes.
Dr. Phil,
And Criminal!
in this video about the now iconic fan-made series, FNAF VHS.
We'll be reviewing the original series by Squimpus Mcgrimpus and comparing it to the two most popular remakes by creators Battington and Valox to determine which is the definitive FNAF VHS series.
But when we planned on making this video, we were just going to cover the different series. However, after more research, we found that there's far more drama behind the scenes than expected.
So join us as we dive deep into the controversial world of FNAF VHS tapes.
Now you might be wondering, what is a FNAF VHS?
Well, FNAF stands for Five Nights at Freddy's, and VHS stands for Video Home System. I hope that cleared things up.
Basically, popular indie horror game plus analog-style horror. And because that's two of the internet's favorite obsessions, FNAF VHS blew the frick up with videos on YouTube, sometimes getting millions of views.
But the first and most popular FNAF VHS series was created by the one and only Squimpus Mcgrimpus.
Squimpus Mcgrimpus, or the Boogerman on SoundCloud, is an internet creator, artist, and YouTube channel that started in August 2016. Though not exclusively a horror creator, Squimp specialized in FNAF-related fan-made projects, most notably FNAF VHS.
After the first episode of the FNAF tapes went viral, and Daco shouted out their stuff, Squimpus' channel grew to over 360,000 subscribers. They have less now, but that comes later in the story.
Real quick, before we dive into the 12 episodes of the series, it's worth noting that the timeline of Squimpus' changing pronouns is somewhat hard to keep track of, so to avoid confusing anyone, we shall simply refer to them as either Squimpus or Mcgrimpus, and occasionally Squimpus Mcgrimpus.
Now that we've lollygagged enough, let us begin.
The first tape in the series, titled
Fazbear Entertainment Video Manual,
is that of the instructional variety. The tape informs us on how to perform maintenance on the Freddy Fazbear animatronic. All you gotta do is press the red button on the neck to send them into maintenance mode, boop the blue button on the head, remove the upper and lower jaw, take off Freddy's arms, and
make the torso piece and lift it upward until it is completely removed. Climb inside the torso and accept your death.
What an unexpected turn! Someone forgot to clean out the dead body again.
I hate it when that happens.
Or as one comment puts it,
when you see the blood that wasn't censored or covered by the black square, you realize that there's a dead body.
A lot of people really like this opener for this series, praising the black censor bar. And I guess it's okay. It's very short, but it does prepare you for the upcoming tapes, so it does its job. I'm not sure who the tape is for, though, since it clearly shows a dead body and a borderline thread at the end, so it's probably not an official Fazbear instructional tape.
Really? What tipped you off, genius?
On to the next one called
Bonnie, joint movement testing.
where we see Bonnie having his joints tested. Everything seems to be in working order until we test the ears.
Oh dear. What about the eyes? Ooh, that can't be good. Mayhaps the jaw? Oh, hey now! Bonnie ends up jump-scaring us. Whoa! And now we're staring at the puppet from FNAF standing over a box. Along with some deceptively peaceful music, the sounds of someone hollering and carrying on can be heard, until what I think is Golden Freddy rocket launches himself out of the box and... You know, I'm not sure if someone is operating this camera or what, so I don't know if anyone dies in this tape. This tape gives us more questions than answers, but it seems pretty obvious that these animatronics are haunted. Ooh, spooky! Next tape, called
Sound Response Check.
and is once again of the instructional type style, but this time we're sound checking Chica.
Wait a second, her left or my left? Like the previous two tapes, something goes awry, and the tape starts acting all spooky with Chica staring right into our soul. When the next audio prompt kicks in, instead of weird alarm sounds, it's a creepy old-timey sounding tune. And then Chica starts talking to us? Via text on the screen, Chica says this.
This music makes me feel better. It makes me think about birds. I like birds. They are pretty. One time I saw a bird sleeping in the snow. That's what bad dreams are about. Things don't breathe and they sleep in the snow. I can't breathe.
This is supposed to be the voice of a young girl, by the way.
I messed up!
The music cuts out and a misshapen child appears in the background. And then a quick shot of a dead bird in the snow and the text that says, I can't breathe. Pretty spooky stuff.
If you didn't already know the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, you may be shocked to know that there are the spirits of dead kids in these suits. Also, if I had to guess, all these tapes are haunted!
Oh, spooky!
I feel spooked.
There was actually a bit of controversy surrounding this particular tape concerning the dead bird. It was a real dead bird. Some found this unacceptable, while most didn't notice or didn't care. Personally, it's not that big of a deal for us, as we cook whole chickens every day, but some may be a bit squeamish about such things. Why I said squeamish people would be watching a horror series about child murder, I don't know.
I may watch a series about murdered kids, but I draw the line at dead birds!
That said, the kids in FNAF are fictional. The bird was real, though I'm pretty sure Squimpus didn't kill the bird, but we have no evidence one way or the other. But I really don't think Squimpus did.
Later on, there was some separate drama with another creator using gory images of an actual dead fox that was run over. Dare I say this is a bit more extreme? Eventually, that drama was resolved, and the incident inspired Squimpus to blur the bird image in their own tape.
Or at least they tried! It seems YouTube didn't let Squimpus add blurs to videos over a certain view count. That is until later, after it was flagged by YouTube for breaking their terms of service regarding animal gore and forced Squimpus to blur it.
Typical YouTube L, but ultimately it turned out fine, the image was blurred. Hooray! Tape numero 4 is called
Pirate Cove P-Show!
and has a cartoon of Foxy announcing the Pirate Cove show that will be starting in
3 minutes! I'ma toss Freddy and his merry band in Davy Jones's locker. Or worse. I'll start asking for raises!
Then some images of 5 kids pop up, and then one disappears. The Foxy tape plays again, this time with no music, and then another kid disappears. Oh my gosh, what's happening?
Viewing of this tape is prohibited. Discard it immediately.
Finally, all the kids fade out of existence, and a man dressed in purple, who I can only assume is the man in purple, or rather, the purple guy, appears.
What's the matter, Foxy? I thought you wanted an audience.
excessive, don't you think?
Bro is straight up tweaking right now.
This tape shows that 5 missing children were presumably killed by this man in purple, aka... Once again, I am sorry if you don't know the lore of the games, but to be fair, I don't even know exactly what Golden Freddy tweaking out is supposed to mean.
Editor's note, I think he might be getting hanged, or at least choked out by a purple rope.
Ah, good to know.
Great.
Non-existent video
Is the 5th tape, and is a little more confusing. It opens up with some info about how the spring lock suits work, and then flashes some clues about how the kids were killed? Maybe? Or maybe when it says tapes, it represents the souls of the kids? Hard to say. Or perhaps it's like the tapes were actually in the animatronics' heads. I don't know.
Then white text appears and says that we might not have known this, but before our brother died, something else happened at that place, presumably the Fredbear Diner. If you know anything about FNAF lore, you've probably heard about the bite of 83. William Afton has 2 sons, yada yada, one bull is the younger one, yada yada, and the younger one eventually gets killed, yada yada. It's a whole ordeal.
So it's probably a safe bet to say that the person viewing these tapes is Michael Afton, the still living son of William Afton. I don't know how much time has passed at this point, but Michael is likely much older now and feels pretty bad about killing his brother, as you know he should.
By the way, whenever the white text is on screen, I think that's the puppet speaking. Text pops up in various other colors later to represent different characters.
Puppet shows Michael a Springlock failure-related death and says the same thing happened to William Afton. But old Willie Afton only died for a while! Spooky!
And now we're gonna find out where he is!
Super spooky!
Michael is then given a plan to basically find his father and blow everything up in order to free all the souls of the children and to free himself, as well as put an end to this painful saga. It's a lot, but luckily Puppet has already forgiven Michael and believes in him and thinks that Michael's brother will forgive him too.
This is one of our personal favorite chapters, as it very smoothly sets up the big finale. It also ties into the official FNAF lore quite nicely, even if it is a bit out of date.
In the tape called
Night Security Training Video,
the 6th tape, we are treated once again to a semi-haunted instructional tape for Fazbear Entertainment. Squimpus cleverly ties in real game mechanics and makes them make sense.
Pressing the white button will activate the light set outside the door, illuminating.
Oh. The tape ends with what must be Willie Afton, now Springtrap, begging Michael to release him from his heck. and they just want to see his son again.
Pretty flippin' spooky.
Tape 7, called
Facial recognition testing.
features some guy testing Toy Bonnie's ability to distinguish between faces of safe individuals and criminals. The test goes well until the tester unwillingly shows the face of a too smooth of a criminal, and Toy Bonnie almost kills him! And the face that Toy Bonnie saw was likely Will Afton.
Criminal.
This might be one of the most popular memes within the FNAF community, even to this day. And now on to the next tape.
Security footage!
The tape isn't all that spooky or scary, it's just kind of sad. It has Bonnie and Chica talking to each other. Chica is definitely younger than Bonnie because she doesn't exactly know what's going on, and says that they'll go to heaven because that's where they're supposed to go. And Bonnie cries, and man, it really do hit hard. It does a good job of reminding you that the monster William Afton not only has killed kids, but very young kids. It is a truly despicable man.
While it's well done here, I kinda prefer how the game didn't go into excessive detail surrounding the topic of child murder, but in this case it benefits the series. This tape actually has a date of recording in the YouTube description, November 4th, 1992. So the kids have been in the animatronic suits for about 7-ish years. Tape 9,
Company PSA,
is a company PSA, but haunted. I expected no different at this point.
Fazbear has decided to stop using spring locks and just have animatronics walk around instead, while the wearable costumes will be separate. Also, Fazbear Entertainment is apparently denying anything about any incidents that might have happened, but totally didn't happen. Oh, the spirit inside Golden Freddy does not take this very well.
I don't love you either, and I'll take you with me, so you know how it feels. Just stop existing.
Tape 10 is called
Animated cartoon,
where the Fazbear and friends hang out and question why they have a table set for 6 when there's only 4 of them.
Don't actually have an answer for that.
Not even a sarcastic one.
The missing 2 being the recently decommissioned spring animatronics.
Chica gets lured away like she was in real life, and we get the iconic "Tomorrow is another day," and some images that only make a little bit of sense to me. The face in the Springlock Bonnie suit might have been in company PSA, but I don't know, I only do surface level research.
Golden Freddy / Michael's brother, Joseph, does not forgive Michael, I guess, and tells all the other kids to give up hope, like he has.
In tape 11,
Memories.
we see some random photos of the animatronics, then we hear the message recorded by William Afton.
3 cases of 1 and 1 case of 2. All of them adding up to the 5 missing children of Freddy's. That was me.
William really hates Michael for killing Joseph, and has wanted to kill him ever since the bite of 83, but because he can't kill Michael without getting caught, he gets street released by killing other kids that are like Michael. I don't know what stage of grief includes Cope killing kids, but it certainly is an interesting twist on the reasoning behind William's murders. Although his descriptions of said murders are a little uncomfortably brutal, even for me.
I couldn't do much, of course. They'd start squealing. So I made it quick enough.
Alright, that's enough.
The real twist happens at the end when William says this.
I check this spot every day to see if this tape is moved. So you better put it back, Michael, as neatly as you can, and start running.
Just for the ending alone, this might be my favorite tape. Very creepy and spooky! Now for the 12th and final tape called
Finale!
I die and end up as one of these.
Since we last saw him, William has managed to get himself spring-locked and killed, and he somehow brought a recorder or something so that he could state his thoughts on the matter.
Michael! Don't leave me here! Michael! Michael!
Methinks he might be losing his mind.
I hate you. I've always hated you. I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to make it hurt.
Methinks he might hate Michael.
Despite being stuck in pain and agony, because he's still alive in the same way that the other animatronics are, William stays fairly sane for 15 years of torture. Eventually, he gets out with plans of finding and killing Michael. That doesn't go so well for William.
Everyone burned to death and William is probably in hell, while all the kids' spirits are freed, and Michael and Joseph are back together again, with peace and forgiveness. So I guess Charlie was right. What an ending. It's very touching that Michael and Joseph are reunited. I don't know how this works with the lore, since the series mostly covers FNAF 1 and 3, but overall the finale does a good job of bringing the series to a close. Now that you've watched this far, you should know. I check this video every day to see if you've liked and subscribed. I will know. So you better like and subscribe if you can. And keep watching.
Very much a series, I think you would agree. One of the series of all time.
He's definitely eerie and has some spooky moments, and despite the extremely cryptic form of storytelling, things are actually a little clearer in the series than in the actual FNAF games. One thing that definitely got the series a lot more criticism at the time and afterwards was use of the loud VHS glitch jump scares, and such elements that could be described as goofy ah. How scary it actually is really depends on the individual. Some people find it giggle-inducing, and other people find it bone-chilling.
Luckily, all these cheap jump scares and whatnot don't happen all the time, and there's plenty to enjoy about the series, even if you don't like those things. And that said, at the time, it's probably more effective, since this is one of the first series made in this format, and the elements had yet to become tropey. Definitely a horror series, although one might think that the themes of child abuse and the kind of dark theme and idea of child murder that are really expanded upon in this series might make it a little too heavy for some.
Overall, while not our cup of tea, it was certainly an interesting watch. I can see why they're so popular.
And to call these tapes popular or influential would be a massive understatement.
Well, excuse me.
All the episodes have millions of views, with the most viewed video sitting at not 1, not 2, not 3, not 8, not 9, 10 million views. We'll get there someday.
The Wonder Gooner himself made a video about them. And as we mentioned earlier, this launched a new genre of FNAF fan film in the haunted VHS format. There are many series now, maybe too many, but these were the OG.
Squimpus' tapes inspired another horror creator known as Battington to create his own original series called Harmony in Horror in 2020.
A year later, in 2021, Battington decided to take this inspiration and remake Squimpus' original tapes with his own reimaginings of the tapes using his vintage-style FNAF animatronics designs.
It should be noted that Battington's social media accounts have gone through quite some trials. Battington's whole Google account was hacked and taken over by crypto scammers impersonating Elon Musk and Tesla. This went on for 2 to 3 sailor days, or in your lingo, that would be 2 to 3 days.
Shiver me timbers, 2 to 3 days! After taking their sweet time, YouTube finally got Battington's account back to him.
Battington wasn't the only FNAF-related creator targeted in these attacks, however. Multiple accounts were compromised, including Fusion Z Gamer, whose account was also temporarily morphed into a fake Tesla YouTube channel.
What's with the 2022 crypto hackers impersonating Elon Musk anyway? Unless it was the real Musk the whole time!
So that's how I managed to buy Twitter.
How unlucky, but surely this is a once-in-a-blue-moon event.
Speaking of Twitter, which we reference later, Battington's name will appear under 2 accounts. That's because in 2024, Battington's old account was hacked by malicious hackermen and used to market more crypto scams. Oh, it never ends!
Despite all attempts, Battington suddenly lost access to the account and had to make a new one. He gained back over 5,000 followers, but lost the old account that had amassed over 32,000. And here we are with like 5. Feel free to follow us on Twitter, a website that we never use.
Luckily, Battington has continued to make content despite all these setbacks, and hasn't been hijacked in quite a while.
Now that we've acknowledged that, let's examine Battington's tapes and see what he was cooking.
Smells like lasagna!
We're cutting that out.
The first and most notable difference is that Freddy Fazbear? This Freddy looks very different, as this is one of the vintage designs we mentioned earlier, based on real-world vintage old-timey characters. Whether you think they are improvement on Squimpus' FNAF 2-inspired designs in the original video is kind of up to you, but at least it makes it different. I would also argue that this video looks a bit more realistic and higher quality.
Second.
Nani? We do the process of disassembling Freddy before the tape threatens us again. But rather than ending abruptly, a distorted face of Freddy materializes on the screen with a really loud noise. Turn it down!
The next video,
Bonnie, joint movement testing,
opens up with a video recording of an animatronic show, but Bonnie isn't moving like he should. He's just standing there, menacingly.
Oh, well, hello there. My name is Freddy Fazbear.
And then Freddy Fazbear himself appears and introduces our testing procedure before noping out of the chat.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
The rest of the tape is much the same, except the design of Bonnie and the environment are reimagined, and instead of in-between slides, Battington shows a computer interface to display the current test. Pretty cool.
I don't know why this person has a flash, but that's a pretty cool effect.
After this, Battington decided to separate the puppet part of the video into its own video called Give Life. Pretty much the same, but in Battington's version, the puppet reaches down with uber long, creepy arms to lift the lid of the box.
Who could have seen this coming? A jump scare! The next tape starts off quite different and quite spooky.
A young girl is video recording inside the bathroom. Wait, that's illegal, that's a crime! And Chica shows up, uninvited I dare say. Chica searches and eventually finds her in the bathroom stall. The video cuts as Chica is reaching toward the kid, and I bet nothing good happened after that.
Anyways, I'll be back to upgrade the others. For now, just play the sound response manual and everything should be A-OK.
We then read the backstory we saw in Squimpus' tape, but this time there are matching visuals. And when it gets to the last part, Chica's face falls off, revealing the face of a missing child underneath. Oh!
This version of Pirate Cove pre-show is a much longer 3D sequence featuring the animatronics instead of a cartoon. Foxy warns the viewers that the show will start, not the original 3 minutes, but 10 minutes!
That's right, 10 minutes! Can you bloody believe it?
The other animatronics are also featured doing some shenanigans. Gradually, things get darker, and the aftermath of the murders is evident behind some censor bars.
What's the matter, Foxy? I thought you wanted an audience.
There's nothing to say. I'm scared.
There Are No Strings is an original video of the security puppet in the building, and it looks pretty freaking creepy, and then some other stuff happens and a jump scare! So yeah, cool.
On to
non-existent video.
And in typical Battington fashion, he has a lot of totally original content, starting with the beginning, which is a company video introducing the spring-lock suits to the employee.
Fredbear takes a widow nibble of the camera, and then we move to a POV shot of the performance stage. Presumably it's just a point-of-view shot. I have no idea why somebody would be actually filming inside the head, and there's a mysterious man looking in the distance. Is that William Afton?
Then the tape cuts to whatever the heck this is. You can hear an announcement order all the employees to evacuate due to a fire in the building. That is probably a fake alarm to get people out of the building while this monstrosity is crawling around singing happy birthday or something. The most disturbing thing about this is that you can hear a return call from somewhere else on the premises.
From the following instructional video that is on this tape, the thing crawling around looks like the Fredbear animatronic, dressed only in its shell. The tape shows in depth how we're to prepare the spring locks for you to wiggle all in inside. But I've got to say, I don't know if these spring locks make any mechanical sense. They just look like medieval torture devices.
This section is kind of horrifying, and also really funny.
Then a slow zoom into Fredbear's face covered in what is obviously tomato sauce.
Very appetizer friendly.
And in case there was any doubt, the tape glitches and it says, I bit someone, and that someone probably being a pizza, hence the tomato sauce.
Nice.
It's possibly our favorite tape and showcases a lot of the kind of additions that you make Battington's remakes stand out. Really knew how to dive in and add more sweet details to expand on what Squimpus came up with, but adds a lot of completely new things that lead the series in a totally new direction.
The animatronic crawler is really interesting, and I'd be interested in finding out more about it. Like, what's going on? Oh, looks like there is an explanation. Forget I said anything.
Unfortunately, we never get any more lore on the subject because Battington never made another video in this series.
This new take on the tapes was received very well, and many actually considered Battington Tapes to be an improvement. While the series events were pretty much the same, many people appreciated the extra spice.
These tape remakes gained enough popularity to get noticed by Matt Pat himself, and Battington's videos were featured in some reaction live stream. And we ourselves enjoyed this series, but why did he cancel it? Why did it end? In April 2022, Battington made a post commemorating Martin Wells, creator of The Walton Files. Rest in power, King, you will be missed.
The thing was, he was in fact not dead, and Battington made another post shortly after explaining what was supposed to be a prank. JK, just a joke, bro. His intentions were to display how much everyone appreciates, loves, and was inspired by Martin's creations and missed him during his absence from the internet.
This is a very odd way of going about expressing this sentiment, and while it should be obvious that Battington would not be the only one posting the shocking news that the Walden Files creator had tragically died,
use your brain! The thing in your head, use it!
Some people did take it seriously and did not find the joke very funny at all.
To say this joke didn't go down very well is like saying that the FNAF 2 movie is a little confusing. In fact, it went down horribly and caused a ton of backlash, and Battington quickly realized this and took the post down.
Afterward, he offered a very sincere apology. Many did indeed forgive the creator, and he never did anything like that ever again.
Actually, Battington was involved in drama in 2024, according to Reddit.
Okay. There was one other issue with Battington using the image of a real deceased child. This also ticked people off, but Battington apologized and said he didn't know. Many, questioned how he could not have known, but who's to say, and people for the most part forgave this incident as well after he deleted the video. Since then, he hasn't done anything like that again, okay? He's going on 2 years drama-free, but it's more than what we can say for some YouTubers.
In this business, we like to call that foreshadowing. But all this photo drama stuff happens 2 years later. Let's go back to the Martin Walls joke thing back in 2022. We mention all of this not to bring up old, expired, curdled, chunky drama that we found in the back of the freezer. There's a point to all this. Squimpus was amongst those who were rather upset by this and made a post telling Battington that Squimpus did not want to see any of their tapes being remade by Battington anymore.
Squimpus also left a meme of Dr. Phil and told Battington to take the L, which is definitely one of the most responses of all time. Some did critique this meme statement, and many wondered if it was a very mature thing to do. It's also questionable whether Squimpus has the right to make any demands about Battington's ability to continue the series, considering Squimpus has exactly zero rights to FNAF intellectual property, as all that belongs to Scott Cawthon, and the story in the FNAF VHS tapes are just retelling Scott's original story. Also, Battington was adding original content to the tapes, making them very different.
Despite the dubious nature of Squimpus' statement, and to be fair, Squimpus never actually gave any orders, just said they don't want to see it happen anymore, Battington did agree to stop and privated the videos. Though, as you can see here, they were in fact, here, they weren't made public again.
The main reason being they're already made, so you might as well just keep the tapes up. After all, people still liked the tapes and they wanted to see them. Battington continued making FNAF tapes, but this time telling his own stories, and continues to grow his own following to this day. People gave Squimpus a bit of a side eye, but things came out as normal afterwards. Martin Rose also checked in just to verify that he was alive, but he didn't seem to have any malice towards anyone.
All of this to explain why Battington's series stops there. However, Battington was not the only popular creator to take a crack at remaking the FNAF VHS series.
Introducing Valox, a FNAF and horror YouTube channel and creator with over 250,000 subs. Though, when he made the series, he had a lot less and was just making these remakes for the lulz to express hype for the upcoming FNAF movie.
His take on the tapes were inspired by the originals and Battington's versions, but he added his own twist. His own twist!
As we can see in the first video,
Maintenance Service,
released in June 2023, Valox uses the movie designs, as seen in the FNAF movie.
The render on this video arguably looks a bit more realistic than the other two versions, and there are more details like the background stands holding up the blue cloth that add some extra realism. The video also has a real voice as opposed to the TTS voices in the previous two versions.
Press the blue button on the back of the head. Remove the upper jaw carefully, then detach the lower jaw.
The end has a more subtle horror element in the audio glitch, repeating "climb inside" instead of "climb inside and accept your death." That makes use of the subtitles as well, as they say. But you want to read it?
Yeah.
Help! I can't move! I can't breathe! I don't know where I am! Please! Can't I go home? There we go.
There's a bit more gore in this one, which is a touch too much for my humble opinion. That could have been more subtle, but this may be our favorite version of the first tape.
The next two tapes are pretty much a one-for-one remix of Squimpus' videos, but with more realistic graphics and movie designs. Though in the sound response check tape, there's some different visuals, a bit more like Battington, but in Valox style.
The Pirate Cove pre-show tape is pretty unique, made with Battington's dialogue audio, Squimpus' music, and several new additions and changes from Valox. Very pog!
Non-existent video! video opens with a rather realistic commercial for Fredbear's Family Diner, then shifts into some footage of the Bite of 83. Sheesh! Then Valox remakes the instructional video portion Battington added, missed that lineup, but with the movie Spring Bonnie version. I think the spring lock designs make a bit more sense here. Still a death trap like Battington's, but looks a little bit more functional, but still like a death trap.
The spring lock scene in this tape looks a bit janky with the movement, perhaps a little too fast, but the visuals and the sounds are possibly the most disturbing. I feel very uncomfy.
One thing about the next tape,
night security training video, FNAF VHS.
And the previous video that throws me off is that the announcer for the instructional portions is one of those TikTok TTS voices you hear all the time, I think.
Welcome to your new job here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. This tape will inform you of your duties as the night watchman from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
I associate that with TikTok and other AI voices, so it sounds really off-putting coming from a tape that's supposed to be from the 80s and 90s. Other than that, the tape is a nice update to Squimpus' version. Number 7, facial recognition. Testing
is almost a one-for-one remake and refresh of Squimpus' tape with some style changes. Showing the screen where the faces are being displayed is a very nice touch, and I prefer the alert sound Toy Bonnie makes in this version. Much nicer in my ear canals.
Innocent. Criminal.
However, the voice is a little bit less convincing in Valox's video.
What's this doing here? Help? Hey, no, stop! No! Look, I know we can't have that guy back here, but you can't just put without telling me. I could have died.
He just doesn't sound nearly as genuinely angry as the cameraman in Squimpus' version.
So I'm not working in this death trap anymore, starting right now.
It's more of a, I can't believe you ate my sandwich, rather than, my golly gosh goodness, I almost died! For that reason, I think the original is a bit better.
Okay. As for the next tape, it doesn't exist. Valox decided to stop at tape number 7, and I don't know why exactly. I guess he had made his mark and decided to move on with his own series again. Whatever the reason, Valox is still highly appreciated for his work on the FNAF VHS tapes, and many people liked his series just as much as Squimpus or Battington.
While Valox was remaking the first tape, he thought everything was hunky-dory in the FNAF VHS community after the Battington incident. But little did he know that before he could get his version out, a second controversy hit the FNAF tapes.
In March 2023, a burner Twitter account created a Twitter thread with a video exposing Squimpus for past crimes, specifically sending not-so-appropriate material and talking about not-so-appropriate things with a 14-year-old while Squimpus was 17. While this was bad, things could certainly be worse, as we found out they were, as Squimpus continued to do this past becoming an adult, well into their adulthood.
One might call this grooming. And I guess it is. This was on Discord, by the way. I have no idea why, but it always comes back to Discord.
And you guys wonder why we don't have a Discord. This crap is why!
Very not good things Squimpus supposedly did, even if Squimpus claimed that Squimpus was previously groomed by someone else, possibly making them the mess that they are now. Very sad. Screenshots in the video show Squimpus admitting to everything while discussing how to draft an apology. Apparently, they were also discussing all of this with a minor, which raises questions. Anyways, claims like these should be taken with a greater tool of salt, since there are many bad actors on the internet. But shortly after the thread was made, Squimpus apologized, packed up their belongings, and left the internet, never to be seen again. In the court of law, that might be seen as an admission of guilt.
Let us briefly take a moment to note that while what Squimpus did was pretty bad, the burner account itself was pretty weird.
They got upset when a few people covered this on YouTube, and some people made memes, but the thread creator specifically asked that this not be made into a big deal, and that there be no memes for you! I have no idea what they thought was going to happen when the news came out that the creator of one of the biggest and most popular FNAF fan series was a groomer, but people did in fact make this into a big deal because it was a public announcement.
Something was going to happen, and someone was going to say something, but this cancellation or accusation didn't actually go that far, as Valox and many others hadn't heard about it months later, and Squimpus just disappeared quietly, only making a statement on Twitter Twitter.
This would explain why Squimpus only lost 11,000 subs on YouTube versus the 100k plus that Shay lost, though arguably what Shay did was in fact worse. Many others have had larger fallouts from even smaller things. Yet, the burner account felt the need to return twice to say screw you to the people who made drama videos. Or I guess made content based on Squimpus's works? I guess they don't like Valox either?
Specifically, them getting upset about people making memes is very weird, because the video accusing Squimpus has a bunch of dumb cat memes, a Toy Story meme, bossa nova jazz, and weird zoom-ins. But this was just for retention and to keep people watching.
So let me get this straight. You want people to watch the whole video, so you add cat memes, and you make the video so you can spread the word, but you don't want people talking about it or making a big deal about it. You don't want people making memes about the situation. I am getting mixed signals.
And the burner account owner didn't make the video themselves, but they approved of it. While I feel bad for anyone affected by Squimpus's actions, being a victim does not place you above all criticism. And there were many ways to handle this situation, and I'm not exactly sure they chose the best one.
What's done is done, and the effect was to get Squimpus to leave, so mission accomplished. Hopefully, everyone involved is doing better now.
People were not happy with Squimpus, to say the least. If they were upset with Battington, they rained hellfire upon old Squimp. Squimp's final message indicated that Squimp would leave the internet in shame until they could work on themselves and maybe come back when they were no longer a threat to anyone. But the audience made it clear in no uncertain terms that Squimpus was not welcome back at all, ever.
Some retrospectively called Squimpus and Mcgrimpus tapes trash, and others ironically told Squimp to take their own L. And still others acted like Battington was somehow redeemed from his previous controversy, because that's how the internet works, and to their credit, Squimpus has stayed gone. Once again, hopefully everyone in this situation is doing well.
All this raises the question, should you separate the art from the artist? Squimpus did some very bad things, but does that mean that we should throw away the FNAF VHS series as a whole? How do you feel about it now that you know if you didn't know before?
There aren't any weird groomer themes in the tapes, so one could separate the series away from Squimpus' actions. At least, Squimpus teamed up with some other creators to make the tapes, so it's not just their own.
And for those who love the tapes but can't bear to watch them after all that happened, they have Battington and Valox remakes to watch as well. Not that either of them finished the series.
So, who made the best version? Well, it is up to personal taste, but if we had to choose, we would probably say Battington, if only for the reason that he added the most original content and did many things better than even the original tapes. Valox is also great, but more of a pure remake than a reimagining.
One series that is much less popular but worth watching is the remake by Phasmator. They've covered all but the finale of the Squimpus tapes, making it the most complete remake that I know of. Actually haven't finished it yet, but it seems pretty good so far. Rather than breaking it down here, we suggest that you check it out for yourself if you want to see, and let us know what you think. That said, remember I haven't finished the series yet, so I think they're all worth watching. If something goes wrong and there's something horrible in there, don't blame me. I disavow myself of any consequences that come from you watching those tapes.
While the VHS series aren't quite the style of content we like to consume on the regular, as we said earlier, it's quite impressive to see the different ways creators big and small have reimagined the original Squimpus tapes. We only scratched the surface so far, and there's tons of remakes and remixes as well as other original series, some of which have their own controversies, but that's a topic for another day. Or not if we don't want to.
But now it's your turn. What's your favorite version of the FNAF VHS tapes? Let us know in the comments. And for those afraid, you will not be dogpiled by anybody if you say your favorite is Squimpus. That series is perfectly fine, in our opinion. The creator, not so much.
And before we sign off, thank you to all our wonderful channel members for supporting our videos.
All these people are beautiful, wonderful people, and you too can join these beautiful, wonderful people for as low as 99 cents.
You get exclusive videos and posts, some of which actually determine how we make our videos.
So if you're interested in that, feel free to check it out.
And a big thanks to William YT for being a massive fan.
And if you want to support us for free, you can hit that subscribe button. We are aiming for 50k by the end of the year, and it's in sight. I can taste it.
If it doesn't happen, oh well. Maybe consider hitting that like button and the hype button, whatever the heck that does.
And if this video has not satisfied your video appetite, you can check out one of these videos over here.
Until you see you there, in the wise words of William Afton.
I always come.
I think they said true.
Help, I can't move, I can't breathe. I don't know why I said like that. I can't move, I can't breathe.
I can't move, I can't breathe.